Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another HD broadcast, and I just got this game off of StarcraftArena.net. It was actually a very highly recommended replay between Terran and a Protoss player, and I don't know, it's supposedly a pretty epic game. I think I'm gonna go ahead and cast this. I just busted it out, and I'm pretty excited. It's gonna be ZergRanGae spawning as the red Terran here, and that's already, I know it's going to throw me off a little bit because he's Terran and I'm going to be calling him ZergRanGae and probably just going to call him Zerg for short. I'm probably going to get very confused while I'm casting this game, but I'll try to keep a straight head. And his opponent is going to be the blue Protoss down here at the 6 o'clock, and his name is Maka.Prime, which already is a household name. A lot of players know about Maka.Prime. And the interesting thing here is he's not playing Terran as he usually does. Instead, he's going to be playing Protoss. So already a little bit of a funny cat in the bag for our Maka.Prime player. It's a little interesting that he's decided to play off race, but perhaps he's, you know, testing the waters. Maybe he likes to play Protoss a little bit more than Terran. Who knows? But it is going to be a Terran versus Protoss. It is going to be on Metalopolis, and it's like 4 in the morning right now. I don't know why I got up to cast this game. I was trying to sleep, and for some reason I decided, you know what, let's just go find a good game to cast, and this was one of the highest recommended replays to bring out. So here it is, gonna be Maka.Prime versus Zerg. I'm gonna get very confused while I'm casting this game. But anyways, as you guys all know, BlizzCon is coming up in about 2 or 3 days, and I'm going to be leaving for BlizzCon tomorrow. So that's actually why I was trying to sleep really early, because I need as much sleep as I can. Gonna be driving down there, well, actually hopping for a ride. So yeah, it's going to be an awesome event. I think it's going to be Friday and Saturday. I'll try to do some real live videos when I get the chance. I'll bring my camcorder, of course. And I am going to be recording some games so that I can upload here or there while I'm at BlizzCon, so that my channel just doesn't, you know, get stale, old, and die. And no one wants it to become decrepit, especially not me. But yeah, I'll be bringing out some games while I'm at BlizzCon, so make sure for you guys to stay tuned. And yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of announcements. I'm really excited because this BlizzCon gonna be a huge StarCraft 2 competition, and of course you can always go there and play games as well. I was there for the last BlizzCon. And one last thing before I get to the game at hand, I am going to be sleeping on Husky's floor. He rented out a room at a hotel, and he just called me up and said, hey dude, you should, you know, forgo your original arrangements and sleep with me. And I'm not gonna deny, you know, a free invitation like that. Gonna sleep on Husky's floor. So anyways, let's get to the game at hand. Looks like the build's now starting to get a little interesting here. Maka.Prime is going to be opening up with a Stargate, rather than going for what would be considered standard, which would be, you know, 2 gateway robo or even 4 gates. Gonna be going straight for that Stargate. This is pretty much the Protoss equivalent of 1-1-1, and back in the Terran base, the Terran player is going 1-1-1, so this is gonna be a very interesting take to the skies, and it's gonna be a battle for air supremacy. Look at this, the factory even lifting off, so immediately we're going to be seeing some kind of bio airplay, and I've got to assume that this is going to be used for either an early Raven or a fast Banshee, and possibly going to swap right under the barracks with the tech lab after the stim pack is done. This factory will be used only for scouting purposes, and it's going to be a very interesting game. We have a Void Ray coming out of the Stargate for Maka.Prime, and this factory will spot the Void Ray as it's being chrono boosted out. So great that Maka.Prime, or excuse me, Zerg, got this starport, because now he's going to be able to pump out Vikings, and there we see the first Viking coming out. So it's so lucky for him that he actually moved the factory in and saw this. He didn't have to waste a scan to do it whatsoever, and now he can get a Viking out and deal with the Void Ray quite easily. Now, I do have to say, I believe this game is pre-patch, which means that the Void Ray did recently get a nerf. I'm not entirely sure. I think the Void Ray right now still does 25 damage when charged, so it does a ridiculous amount of damage, and a Viking needs to be properly microed to handle this. Here we come, the Marines coming in. Are they going to be able to take out the Void Ray? The Void Ray losing all of its shields, taking out all the Marines very easily, and the Void Ray will fall to the Viking. Great play by Zerg to hold that off. Maybe I should just call him RanGae. That's actually his full name, ZergRanGae. But whatever his name is, he was able to hold off that attack quite well. And it looks like Maka here, his original strategy, used the Void Ray and then try to secure a natural expansion. Now, you have to remember in StarCraft, this is typically how the game is played. When you attack, you want to try to secure your natural expansion because that's when your opponent is scared, they're forced to play defensive, that's when they're least likely to make an attack on your front door. So Maka.Prime here playing beautifully, getting that Nexus out, and he's now switched over to getting Phoenix, which is more of a traditional mid-game unit rather than Void Rays. Void Rays are more kind of cheesy, pop in your base, try to destroy everything, but Phoenix are more harass-oriented. They can fly in, pick up stuff. They can be used towards the mid and late game to pick up siege tanks and marauders as well. So we'll see how the Phoenix fare against Vikings. So two very good anti-air units. I do believe the Vikings might be just a little bit stronger. We're about to see. No, the Viking loses. And now this Viking will be forced back, not faster than the higher tier Protoss army, but then here comes the Marines and SCVs trying to repair that Viking, and it looks like the Phoenix, though, did kill off the Vikings, so great pick off right there, compensating for the fact that Maka.Prime lost that original Void Ray, killing off two of the Vikings, controlling the entire skies right now, and now that the air has been controlled by the Protoss player, I'm not entirely sure this dropship is going to be successful. Here it comes, limbering across the skyscraper. Going to drop off right behind the steam vents. Is Maka.Prime going to be able to detect this in time? Is he going to be able to hold it off? Notice that he's only got Phoenix right now. He needs ground units to deal with this. He can pick off the dropship, however, and here comes the sentries and the stalkers. Some probes going down, and now the Phoenix lifting off the Marauders, and the Marauders in the air, helpless to attack. And it looks like the Protoss player Maka.Prime gonna look good here, gonna clean this up quite easily. Look at that insanely high APM. That APM is so fast that my eyes can barely keep up with it. If we look at their first-person view, something I don't do enough, here is the Protoss player's first-person view, bouncing around all over the place. Here is the red Terran player's first-person view, and he's about to be seeing something he does not want to see. 3 Phoenix come into his base, and they obviously, without any kind of air unit, no Vikings whatsoever, these Phoenix can be very mobile. They can run around. They're going to force the Marines to stim to keep up. And those dropships in turn will lose a lot of energy in an attempt to heal the Marines up. Now if we look at the income, Protoss player Maka.Prime looking a lot better. 1100 minerals per minute, over 800. He has slightly more harvesters, but he has this natural. The Terran player, Zerg, needs to get his natural expansion down. He's quickly running out of time, and that gap where you fall behind the Protoss player, when you fall behind a player who has an extra expansion, is quickly increasing, and it doesn't help the fact that these Phoenix are still up in your base, killing all your units, Zerg. It looks like he is going to be able to get a Viking out. He's bringing his Marines back. This Void Ray stuck. Just, I don't know what it was doing. Was it trying to lift up the engineering bay? I guess the Phoenix felt sad that the engineering bay lost the ability to lift off in StarCraft 2. Yes, that's right, engineering bays used to be able to lift off. And it tried to help it out, but unfortunately, the Terran player saying, nope, don't want your help, kills it off. And looks like now we do have a command center floating out, so Zerg. Man, Zerg is going to be getting this natural expansion, so he won't be falling behind too bad. Gotta get those meals to pick up his economy, and he is, do note, getting a Ghost Academy. Very, very big unit in Terran versus Protoss. Or I guess you could say Zerg versus Protoss, since his name is Zerg. Ghost for EMP is so good. It's so essential because, of course, it drains all the energy. It does 100 damage to the shields. It is extremely vital to the success of Terran versus Protoss. And here comes a massive battle. Great force fields blocking in the entire army from retreating. And it looks like with warp in 3 additional zealots, this should be able to hold it off. Notice the Phoenix picking off the dropships. The dropships all about to go down, and all these Marines gonna be forced to fall back. The Phoenix even using Graviton Beam wherever possible. Very, very micro-intensive game at this point. It looks like the Zealots just barely should be able to hold this off. The Stalker and the Sentry picking off the last dropship. The dropship at critical HP at 5 health, but more Marines coming in to back up. And oh man, this game is getting super intense. I am getting extreme adrenaline rush right now. It is practically spewing out of my epiglottis. And we have Zealots and probes coming out the line there. Are they going to be able to hold off the Marines? Oh, the Marines. Oh, such good micro from ZergRanGae. These two players absolutely superb. We can see Charge being chrono boosted out. As soon as Charge finishes, I think that the Protoss player will be able to hold this off. Oh, but the Templar Archives getting taken down. Is Maka.Prime going to be able to hold on to it? He does with Charge. The Zealots charging down the ramp, and it looks like it will be enough to hold off Zerg's attack. What an intense battle for a couple of minutes there. I just saw their average APM just skyrocket out. and adrenaline's now drooling out from my mouth. This is such an incredible micro-oriented game. I love battles where the players duke it out and they use small units, there's small skirmishes, and it's so micro-intensive. That really is the most interesting kind of battle to watch in StarCraft 2. You don't really want to watch a player macro up for 2 hours and then go attack, because that's what I do, and you know, I get enough of that already. But here we go, another massive battle, pre-stim before going in, so those Marines and Marauders very quick, but the dropship's gonna unload and get the heck out of there. I think the Terran forces realize there are too many charge lots now, and with Templar as backup, the feedback absolutely huge versus dropships, especially dropships with full energy. They can actually kill off a dropship in a single attack if the medvac has at least 150 energy. So that is something that the Terran player will have to look out for, and that is the reason why Terran players will sometimes pre-stim before they engage, use up a little bit of that medvac energy to prevent them from just kind of dying, so they can still use them as evacuation if that proves to be necessary. Now, we do note a Ghost Academy, a Ghost on the way, as well as personal cloaking, so that means those ghosts will be very, very hard to detect unless a Protoss player has an observer out, and the ghosts are going to be absolutely huge versus Protoss for the reasons I mentioned before. So keep your eye on this very, very powerful cybernetically altered unit that actually looks like a stormtrooper almost.